morning. Oh, I guess I should actually put my camera in place. What is preparation? Good morning, Kite. Oh my gosh, thank you for the sub. Or I guess continuing the sub. Yay, first badge. You do get it from now, I see that. Excellent. Thank you so much. I much appreciate it. Yeah, it is Sunday. We are back to Patchwork. Yeah, earlier than expected, or earlier than it has been, but that's fine. You may notice we have a new little friendo down in the corner. I found this really, really cute Twitch extension that gives me this little pet thing. It is supposed to react to things happening in chat, like subs and followers and stuff. And you can also spend channel points to like feed it and battle it and stuff. So I thought that might be a cool way to expend channel points. Yeah. So we are starting early, but I will give a quick shout out to well, I don't want to call it a charity. It's not a charity. A friend of mine needs his top surgery, and a bunch of us are crowdfunding funds to raise it. So go check out the GoFundMe. Yeah, trans rights, absolutely. Let's see, I need a needle. And well, I don't need a pin yet. I will need a pin. I need thread. The downside of starting this early is I'm not quite awake yet, so bear with me, friends. And yeah, the options to feed my little pet thing should show up in the channel points menu. Yes, it does. Good. Excellent. And also you can breed it with like other random pets to give it new traits and new colors and stuff, which I found really cool. Because I'm a sucker for those stupid browser-based art pet kind of games. I play way too many of them. But yeah, good morning. How's everybody doing? Hopefully it's nice weather wherever you are. It's beautiful weather here today. It's currently 15 degrees and very sunny. So I may take a walk after stream. Actually, I'll probably wait until Kara gets home and then we'll both take a walk. If it stays nice. I don't think it's supposed to rain later. And Sasha is around somewhere. When I went downstairs to get coffee, she was asleep in her pan. So she'll probably hear me talking and tootle up here at some point. There we go. Oh, it's too early in the morning for thread shenanigans. Come on, guys. I am an organized person. I am an organized and competent person. But yeah, yesterday was my last day at my old job. So it was exciting, and it was not nearly as emotional as I thought it was going to be, considering I've been there for 7.5 years. And it's not that the job was bad, necessarily. But, like, I'm not sad to go. And I was thinking about it, and it feels very similar to, like, when I graduated high school. And it's like, I didn't dislike this place. It was a place I had to go every day for years. But I'm ready to close that chapter of my life and move on to something new. So it was just, I don't know, it was a very strange feeling yesterday. Where it was like, yeah, I'm probably never going to see this place again. Like, not the back rooms or anything. I'm not going to have to come in anymore and do the routine that I've done for years. But it's more exciting than sad. Because I'm ready to move on to something new. I never intended to be there for 7.5 years. It just kind of happened. I was job hunting semi-seriously before the pandemic. But then, of course, the pandemic happened. And I was just happy to have a stable job. So I only started job hunting again recently. A Yelk! Oh no, I've been booped. That's twice this morning I've been booped. I guess I have a very boopable snoot. Good morning, Yelk. I am indeed a witch of the school of Patch. It's what allows me to make these creations. Yes, double boops. You booped me and Kite booped me. And if I had woken up, well, actually no, that's 3 boops. Because when I woke up this morning, Kara was on her way out to work and she booped me in the physical realm. So I've had 3 boops this morning. I hope that there's not, I hope you can't overdose on boops. I don't think it's possible, but it might be. Stitching goes good. I just started. I've only been at it for 5 or 10 minutes now. Well, this one I started last week, but like this morning I've only been at it for 5 or 10 minutes. So yeah, it goes good. I'm starting early because I want to see. I haven't had any trouble with my hands doing 3-hour streams, so I want to see if I can hold up for 4-hour streams. So we're gonna try that today. And if I have to switch midway through to crochet, I can, but we'll see how it goes. I might just have to take like an actual stretch break in the middle. Hopefully I don't have to stop and cut more fabric in the middle, but I shouldn't have to. If I run out of fabric, I will just pivot to the other hand-stitched blanket I'm working on, which I have the pieces completely cut for, which is the baby blanket for my nephew. Started a 5th concurrent crochet project. Oh, yeah? Yeah, I feel that, Yelk. I have, oh god, okay, 2 English paper piece blankets like this. I've got this one and I've got the baby blanket. I have the crochet blanket that I'm working on for my sister. I've got 1, 2, 3 scarves I finished one of the scarves. I did finish one of the scarves, so I've only got 3 at the moment. And the my resin work, so like my resin shaker charms. I think. Well, and I have the machine quilt I'm doing, but I can't do that one on stream. I can't really do the resin on stream either. But I think that's all. Oh no, and I'm also working on a cardigan for Merlin. But that should be all. And they're ranked in tiers. Well, I've got the cross stitch project and my confetti pinwheel quilting project, but those are like the lowest tier because they're for me and they've got absolutely no time limit on them. And then like the highest tier is currently this blanket, the baby blanket, the crochet blanket for my sister, and Merlin's cardigan, because they're all like 4 people, and Merlin's cardigan in particular I'm being paid for, so I need to get that done. The blankets for my siblings and nephew are just gifts. And I need to finish the machine quilt as well, because that is for someone. But at this point she's been waiting literal years on it, and she's an angel. So while I need to get that one done, it's still kind of middle tier because it doesn't have a time limit on it the way that the others do. There we go. Send you more arms so that you can work on multiple projects at once. Yep, that's a feeling. That sure is a feeling. And I think on Tuesday I'm going to start a new project because I have this really pretty yarn that's trans flag colors, and I've got a pattern I've been meaning to try for like a vest shawl kind of thing. So I think on Tuesday, in honor of Pride Month, I might start on that and start crocheting like a trans shawl. So that'll be another project started, but that one I can do on stream. But yeah, the crafter ADHD is real. I totally feel that. I envy the people that are dedicated enough to start a project and then like mindlessly focus on it and it alone until it's done. Because that's not how my brain works at all. Newer, bigger CNC router. Ooh. I don't know what a CNC is, but I'm going to assume you mean router as in like the technology internet router? Or is that a crafting equipment that I am not aware of? CNC client network connection would be my guess? Question marks? You can tell I'm super tech savvy. Well, okay, I'm not terrible. I can usually feel my way through tech, but I'm not an expert by any means. I'm not like boomer level of tech. Though that does remind me of the time. So when I was in university, we went to visit my grandmother, and she had Ethernet internet, which was fine. And I had brought my laptop with me because we were going to be there over the weekend, and I think I had to work on some school projects or something. I had to work on stuff for school while I was there because I had stuff that was like due Monday and Tuesday as soon as I got back. So we got to my grandmother's, and I was like, hey grandma, I'm gonna go downstairs to the office and plug into your Ethernet so I can do some schoolwork. And she got so concerned. She was like, oh, I haven't touched that since your grandfather died, and I don't think, like, I haven't updated the virus protection at all. I don't want you to, like, get viruses. And I was trying to explain to her, like, it's okay, Grandma. Like, the virus protection is in your computer. And my computer does have virus protection, so it'll be okay. And, like, I couldn't get her to understand because she thought the virus protection was, like, in the Ethernet cable. And that by plugging her Ethernet cable into my computer, that was what would infect my computer. I had to spend like 10 or 15 minutes trying to explain to her. Like, it was really sweet. She was honestly very concerned, and I could not get her to understand, like, I've got this, Grandma. My computer's up to date. It's okay. CNC is computer numerical control. Okay. Oh, it is a crafting thing. Okay. Oh, okay, nice. That's really cool. That's really cool, Yalk. You can make some really neat things with that. I'm envious that you have, like, the space for that sort of thing. Like, I would love to have just a garage that I could convert into a workshop. I'm really, really thankful I have a bedroom that I can, like, this spare bedroom that I'm in right now, that I've converted into a crafting room. But it would be nice to have even more space. Like, there's a YouTuber that I watch that does woodworking and resin craft, and he's got his entire garage converted into just this giant workshop, and it is amazing. I'm so jealous of his setup, because it's kind of like you, I'm sure, where he's just collected pieces of equipment over the years, but he's got such an amazing setup. Yeah, ITing for family is a pain. Luckily, my father is an aerospace engineer and fairly likely to be able to figure out his own shit. And then my aunts and uncles will IT for my grandfather. You have to clean your garage today? Do it. You can do it. Make room for that new router. Or a car, depending on what you use your garage for. My parents have had a garage my entire life, and it has never had a car in it. It's just storage space. Like, I wouldn't call my parents hoarders at all. They're not bad, but they've just accumulated stuff over the years. I think my mom is actively trying to clean out the garage these days. But yeah, for as long as I can remember, it's just been mountains of stuff. You know, old bikes that we've outgrown and never gotten around to getting rid of because maybe we'll hand them down to the neighbor kid, except we never do. And, you know, plastic tubs of old photos and framed artwork and, like, I don't even know. Like, none of it's actual trash. It's just stuff. My family's always been really good about getting rid of actual trash. But, you know, family of 5, you accumulate junk over the years. Yeah, exactly. Stuff occurs. Like, I remember one time, I don't remember what we were looking for, but my sister and I were looking for something. And Mom was like, oh, it's probably out in the garage. So we go out in the garage and we're digging through to try to find whatever it was we were looking for. And we come across, like, you know those snap together poster frames where it'll have like a cardboard back and a plastic sheeting front, and then the frame like snaps in along the edges, so it's like super easy to assemble, super light, and you can put whatever you want in it. We found one of those and we were like, oh, what's this? So we flip it over, and it's all of my dad's old my dad was on swim team when he was in high school and college, and it's all of his old like first and second place ribbons from all of the meets that he competed in. And we're like, oh, this is really cool. Except whoever, like, I don't know if it was my grandmother that made it or my dad or my mom or what, but they had like collaged them all together along with pictures of my dad in high school in a Speedo when he was like competing, which is fine. But of course, to me and my sister, we're both just like, ah, why? And we immediately like flipped it back over and ran back inside. It was pretty funny in hindsight. Because of course, like, not only was it dad in a Speedo, but he had like, that would have been in the late 70s. So he had like the giant tinted aviator glasses and the like the shaggy sort of 70s haircut where it was like chin length and like cut. It was like an overgrown bowl cut, like that 70s look. So the trauma was like half dad in a Speedo and half just like, oh god, those glasses, why? The 80s, no, it burns, right? Yeah, it was, my dad had that haircut where it looked like you had given yourself a Beatles bowl cut and then let it grow for a year and a half. And that was the look. My mom wasn't quite as bad, but by the time I was born, like for my entire childhood in the 90s, my mom had the haircut where it was shaved and clipped really, really close along the back of the neck and along the sides. But then the top of her head was just like permed curls in like kind of a fluffy poof. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great, and it was definitely of its time. Like, she's told me since that she actually didn't really like that hairdo, but with small children, she found it much, much easier to maintain than anything longer, and she's since let her hair grow back out. But yeah, for like my entire childhood, that's the haircut I remember her having. The 80s had hairstyles that were clearly choices, right? Neither my mom nor my dad ever had a full-on mullet, which was nice. Oh no. Yeah, the mullet's coming back in, and I do not like it. I'm not a fan. I'm waiting for the 90s side ponytails to come back in, because I have a side shave. So if I want to pull my hair, I can pull my hair into a ponytail at the back of my neck. But if I try to braid it, it's slightly lopsided. Like it's slightly over to one side. So I'm waiting for like the side heavy hairstyles to come back in vogue, so I'll be fashionable. Why wait? Bring it back. Yeah, that's fair. I just need to get myself some real big scrunchies then. My hair is also extremely fluffy though, so putting it up, I almost always put it in low ponytails because if I try to gather my hair up into a high ponytail, it tends to get super tangled. But it might be worth it sometimes. Also, good morning, Merlin. Welcome. I meant to tell you last night that I was starting early, and then I forgot. Because stuff. But I'm glad you had fun at D&D without me. It sounded like a trip. But I'm glad you all had fun. Hopefully Christy didn't lose her mind DMing too much. Cat hair. Very long cat hair. Goodness, Sasha. Yeah, I hope she had fun. DMing is a whole separate beast. I would like to give it a try, but yeah, I'm also very nervous about it. I actually had a stress dream last night about D&D, I think. I don't remember a lot of the details, but I remember that me and a bunch of my, well, now former coworkers were like camping, and we decided that we wanted to play D&D, and I was the only one that was willing to DM, and I like hadn't prepared anything, so I was like trying to DM on the fly with like no supplies around a campfire. I don't know. I don't remember many of the details. I just remember it wasn't like super stressful, but it was a little bit like, why this? I just remember I kept apologizing to them, being like, I've never DM'd before. I'm so sorry. I've never DM'd before. I think it was one of those like herding cats kind of stress dreams, because I remember I couldn't get them all to like shut up and actually start the game. Oh, that's good, Merlin. I'm glad Lori was able to show up. Also, yeah, that's a mood yauk. Trying to schedule several adults for a consistent time for anything. Oh no. Oh dear, Merlin. I haven't interacted enough with Nerium to know how Farron would react to that. Like, obviously he doesn't really care what Otto does, or rather who Otto does. But I get the sense he might try to strangle Nerium a little bit. We'll have to see. That's amazing. Did the session get recorded? Or was Christy not cool with that? Because I'd love to be able to watch it later. See, that's the question, and I don't actually know. Farron is very, like, he doesn't have a lot of patience, especially for what he sees as, like, not stupid people, but, like, Farron's very straightforward, and he doesn't like a lot of standing on ceremony or putting on airs or any of that. And Nerium, from what I have seen, is... because he's a sorcerer, I think. Is that right, Merlin? And he tends to be somewhat arrogant and a little bit of a jackass. And Farron's not really about that. He would get extremely annoyed at that. Wizard, okay. I couldn't remember if he was a sorcerer or a wizard. Or warlock. Yeah, so typically wizard is innate magic where they study from books, whereas warlocks have a patron. Like, they get gifted their powers and then serve a higher being. Wizard, yeah. And then sorcerers typically get gifted their powers somehow or gain powers through an event, but don't serve a higher being. They're the more like chaotic inborn magic. Good morning, Kitsune. Fox has coffee, I take it. Or hopefully Fox has coffee. Although, isn't it like mid-afternoon for you? I mean, no reason you can't have coffee in mid-afternoon. Sorcerer's baseline have dragon heritage or wild magic. Yeah. Something along those lines. Far less controlled than wizards and warlocks. Lurking is good. Lurking is fine. I'm happy to have you lurk. I should be able to get... Nah, I probably can't get another seam out of that. Managed to withdraw from caffeine? Ooh, is that a good or a bad? Miriam's an ass and Otto was an ass back to him. Well, that's good. I feel like Farron would sit back and watch Otto be an ass to him and be like, okay, yeah, this is fine. But wouldn't really want to interact with Miriam himself. Because I get the feeling Otto was probably kind of having fun being a jackass. Whereas Farron would just get really, really annoyed and be really done with it really fast. Currently good. We'll see how well you function without caffeine going back to work. Ooh, yeah, that's the trick. But if you can get past the point where you're having caffeine headaches, which is usually the problem that I have when I withdraw from caffeine, then you should be okay. Yeah, as long as Otto was having fun, Farron doesn't care. If Otto's enjoying himself, that's fine. It's just Farron may not engage with it himself. Or he'll end up punching Miriam, and then they'll be fine. One or the other. But that's the thing with Farron, is he doesn't typically tend to argue much, except with Vice. He tends to get physical, and he'll just kind of punch you. Sorcerer bard that styled himself in the way of an 80s hairband member. That sounds amazing. Yeah, that sounds hilarious. Yeah, that's fair. I can see that happening. That's kind of what Farron and Vice have going on, at least from Farron's side of things. Nah, Farron does like Vice, he'll just never admit it. Yeah, exactly, Alk. Exactly. That is exactly the vibe. And then they both leave still in a huff and don't ever acknowledge it again. Until next time. Thread, please. Here we go. I currently have a kobold artificer living rent-free in my brain that is an absolute gremlin. And I just hope someday I find the right DM that's willing to deal with her. Because she is an absolute gremlin. But, like, at the same time... Oh, thanks for stopping by, y'all. Good luck with Garage. I feel like you will need it. Godspeed, my friend. But yeah, Fern is... She's a gremlin, but like at the same time, she's not quite a joke character. Because like I actually have story in mind for her and I would play her seriously. But she's a complete gremlin. She's an artificer that uses her powers to imbue... Oh, thank you, Kitsune. They have gifted a sub to Yalk. Thank you, I appreciate that. But yeah, Fern uses her artificer powers to imbue shiny rocks that she finds with the power to explode. And her favorite method of combat is to scramble up the tallest tree or building she can find and then just fling her bombs at people. I created her because I was wondering what the most ridiculous race class combination would be that would still be like somewhat playable. And I came up with Kobold Artificer. And then her personality, I very deliberately modeled her after the gobbies in FF14. So just gobby booms all the time. Loves to tinker with things. Yeah, she's incredible. I just have to find the right group to play her with, hopefully someday. Chris Chat D&D is going great. We've had 2 sessions so far. I'm greatly enjoying it. Randus is a fantastic DM. And yeah, the team synergy seems to be going really, really well. We've been through 1 session of combat in which my paladin was not able to hit anything at all, not even once. His dice do not like him. But it was still terrific fun. So it's yeah, there's some really interesting character dynamics that are getting set up. So I think it's going to be a real good time. Has been so far. I am all for continuing on once we finish this module, or like starting up a new module, either with same characters or different, whatever. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thread. We're currently, so the module that we're doing is we're having to hunt down a white dragon that is terrorizing Phandalin. And my paladin follows Bahamut. So he's like, oh god, white dragon. Not good. Not good. We need to take out the white dragon. And yeah, it's been really fun so far. We fought a bunch of kobolds that like serve the white dragon, and we're calling her mistress. And one of them had a shield that was like coated in the white dragon's scales. And Bram's proficient with shields, but he's staring at it like, ugh, that's white dragon scales. I'm not gonna touch it. So I think the cleric's gonna take it because they're also proficient with shields. Bram doesn't mind that. He just doesn't want to use it himself because it's Bahamut in Forgotten Realms, which is the setting we're playing in. Bahamut is a platinum dragon god. So the metallics and the chromatics have a thing going on. So the fact that Bram serves a metallic dragon god, the chromatic dragon scale shield is kind of anathema. And he's just like, I don't think Bahamut would be cool with that. And even if he was, I don't wanna. That's kind of icky. Ooh, yeah, Merlin. We're all super laid back in that group. So you'll have to help me bully them into actually like finishing character sheets and scheduling a time and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, that's totally a thing we can do. Because I would really like to run that. It just means I have to actually do concrete planning for it. But that's fine. That's doable. I've got like vague planning in my head already. I just need to like sit down and actually do the statting for the encounters and stuff. Yeah, our that D&D group has kind of the opposite problem where we're all like, yeah, we have a fair amount of free time and yeah, we'll do it eventually, and then just kind of like hand wave it a lot. But yeah, actually sitting down and scheduling times would be good. A couple people in that group have various health issues though, so there will have to be the flexibility of, oh shoot, we can't play today because person has a migraine, or oh, person literally cannot get out of bed. Yeah, we'll have to postpone this. So as long as you're cool with that kind of flexibility, we can definitely get stuff done. But I've found that I have found that the text, since we're doing it completely on text, it's much easier to have like smaller sessions, even in like evenings where we would typically have like work the next day. Like, you know, if the only time that we can all get is, you know, 7 to 9 on Tuesdays, well, let's try it, because it's not like text D&D, I find, is much less strenuous than like getting on call and getting on headset. And you're able to multitask a little bit better too. I don't know. I find it more relaxing and low key. I can pull this one. Yeah, for sure. And the way that we usually do it is we'll have two channels going. We'll have one channel that we use for the actual in character session, and then another channel that's chatter and gifs and asking questions and that kind of thing. Like I said, we're fairly low key about stuff, and none of us are in any hurry, which again is helpful with text because it's like we're not on a time crunch, and it also helps because everyone in that session is in our time zone. Or I think Max and Alexi might be 1 hour behind us, but either way, it's not like we're trying to bridge the Atlantic Ocean in time zones, which makes it a lot easier too. Yeah, no, that's fair, Merlin. Art stuff come first. I was just saying a bit before you showed up that I need to be working on your cardigan. Because I'm actually being paid for it, so I should probably get it done. Ocean is big in space and also in time. That is very true. Yeah, trying to organize D&D with folks in Europe is a pain. Yes, cardigan. I was hoping to have it done by the end of May, and then that didn't happen. So now I'm saying hopefully it'll be done by the end of June. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's probably about 75-80% done. I need to put a couple more rounds on the main body, and then that'll be done, and it'll just be sleeves. And the sleeves should go in pretty quickly. Hopefully with me having this week off, I'll be able to put a few hours into it. Oof, yeah, those all take higher priority, unfortunately. But you can do it. You got this. Totally got this. If you need me to like bully you at any point, just let me know. I can poke you in the evenings or during the day and be like, hey, what are you going to get done when you get home this evening? Go do it. I will be the motivational friend. I think I've said that before. Need life to chill. Oh, yeah, that's a mood. That's definitely a mood. I would like things to stop happening all at once. For just like a month. Please. Although it's better than last year when our house had like 2.5 medical crises in the space of 2 months. That was not great. Hours on the phone. Oof. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, no, so last year, right about a year ago actually, Jade had a medical crisis and had to go to the emergency room. And then, and she was fine. She's okay. And it actually turned out to be good in hindsight because it led to an actual diagnosis for her, which is fantastic. So now she actually can start managing her medical issues because she knows what the heck it is now. But then, a month later, our other roommate, the one that has since moved out, ended up with appendicitis and also had to go to the emergency room and have their appendix out. So that was fun. Not. And then I feel like I think Kara had her wisdom teeth out right about the same time, which was fine. It was routine and scheduled, but she was off work for 3 or 4 days, and I remember, burp. But yeah, Kara having her teeth out and Jade's hospital trip and then Deja's hospital trip were all within the space of like a month and a half, 2 months, because I remember joking, like, okay, when's it going to be my turn for a medical crisis so that I can sit down for 5 minutes? It was a bit rough. As far as just like mental health and stress. Come on. There we go. But everything's good now. Deja's fine. They got their appendix out and they're good. Jade's fine. We're all fine. It was just like one thing after another. Come on. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. Downside of white thread on white fabric. Sometimes I can't quite see what I'm doing. Here we go. This is fine. The coffee beeped. Like your actual coffee. I'm like, is there some stream element I'm missing? Go drink your coffee. Consume. Or I guess if you're kitsune, do not consume. I have a latte to drink. It is a latte from last night that I did not finish and shoved in the fridge, because I'm a crazy person that actually likes cold lattes. Like, not iced lattes, but like lattes that were made hot and then became cold by being shoved in the fridge. I actually quite like those. At least when they're made with almond milk. I'm not a fan of cow's milk ones, but I love the almond milk. My fancy drink of choice at the moment is like a white chocolate mocha made with almond milk. Oh, it's so good. Yep, that's fair, Merlin. I'm a little bit weird when it comes to whipped cream on my coffee. If it's an iced drink, yes, give me all the whipped cream. If it's a hot drink, I actually don't like whipped cream on it, because I find that the heat makes the whipped cream go kind of funny. If I get whipped cream on a hot drink, I have to grab a spoon and like scoop it off and eat it immediately, because if it has time to melt down into the hot drink, I do not like it at all. So I usually get my hot drinks with like no whip on them. Not for any lactose reasons, just texture reasons. Also, sorry, Kitsune, we will stop discussing coffee if it's, problematic. We do not want to tempt you if kicking caffeine is a thing that you are definitely trying to do. I don't know, Merlin. Do you eat cold pizza? Okay, I'm weird with pizza too. So, I don't like pizza sauce most of the time. And there's actually a couple places where I cannot eat the pizza sauce because they put like bell pepper juice in it, and I'm allergic to bell peppers. So there's a couple chains where I literally can't eat their pizza because I'm allergic to their sauce. But like some pizza sauces I do eat. And if it's got pizza sauce on it, absolutely reheat it. I cannot stand it cold. But there's a place near us that does really, really good garlic sauce pizzas. Like they've got a shawarma pizza and they've got a chicken parmesan pizza where it's garlic sauce instead of pizza sauce, and those I'll eat cold because it's kind of like garlic bread. It's like garlic bread with extra stuff on it, and that's fine cold. Oh my god, Akara, you're at work, ma'am. I have eaten a thing. I've eaten one donut, and I have another donut here ready to go that I can nom. Ma'am, you're at work. Although you are in Cash Office. Do you just have me playing in Cash Office instead of the Adventure Zone today? Am I better than the Adventure Zone? I feel so touched. Guys, my wife likes me better than the Adventure Zone. Ooh, strawberries are good. Yes, eat some strawberries. Everybody eat a thing. Maybe I should add a channel point redemption for eat a thing. I don't always have an eat a thing in reach though, whereas I always have hydration in reach. I think she said she's on the 3rd campaign at the moment. She's been listening to all of it. I plan to listen to all of it eventually. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. She's listened to a lot of it because she'll just put it on in the background when she's doing Cash Office in the mornings at work. That's actually how she got through the Magnus Archives too. Speaking of, Merlin, have you listened to more of the Magnus Archives yet? So good. Like, I don't usually listen to fictional podcasts. Most of the podcasts that I listen to are, like, documentary ones. Or, yeah, like, documentary ones. Like, historical stuff, or true crime stuff, or, like, I have a couple that are, like, disaster breakdown kind of things. I don't typically listen to narrative podcasts. But Jade listens to a bunch, and so there's been times where Kara and Jade and I'll just sit down in the evenings and have a podcast on in the background, which is how we listen to the Magnus Archives. And then there's another one called The White Vault, which is really, really fascinating. It's like a kind of a semi-horror, like a, I don't even know how to describe it, like an adventure horror kind of thing. The premise is that there's this scientific outpost way up in the Arctic, and there was a team of scientists sent to it that completely disappeared. And so when a rescue team was sent after them to try to figure out what happened to them, they found all these like audio logs and notes and stuff. So it's kind of like a found footage sort of podcast where it's going through all of these audio logs and notes and sort of weaving the story of what the heck happened to these scientists. And it's really, really good. The voice acting on it is incredible. And it's called The White Vault. They've got several different seasons now that it's one of those where like the first 2 or 3 seasons seem like they're standalone, and then you realize that it's kind of weaving one whole story together by the end. And it's really, really good. I highly recommend that one. I actually need to finish listening to the last season myself. Send you yeah, I will for sure. I'll find their website and send you a link to it because it's quite good. And if you like the Magnus Archives, you will definitely like it. It's a very similar sort of vibe. Yes. How far have you gotten on the Magnus Archives? Yeah. Yeah. Mag will draw you in real fast. For me, it was kind of like, oh yeah, these are interesting stories. I like these. And then all of a sudden there was an overarching plot and I was super invested. Season 4. Okay, cool. I think my favorite episode, and you should have hit it by now because I think it was in the first 2 or 3 seasons. I loved the one where that poor department store worker was just being harassed by Nicola for a couple weeks. Because Nicola was just posing as a mannequin in a department store just for the fun of it, basically. I love that episode so much. Also, anything to do with Helen. I just love Helen. Well, Michael/Helen. They're incredible. They're just here to have a party and that's it. Martin is your fave? That's unsurprising. Martin is amazing. I'm actually quite fond of Tim. Just his entire, like, you fuck with me, I'll fuck with you attitude is quite good. But yeah, Martin's a giant teddy bear. Yeah. Oh, Tim is the appropriate reaction there. Should at some point probably get caught up on Welcome to Night Vale too. I've listened to the first, I'm gonna say 100 or so episodes and then kind of fell off it because for a while I was listening to it while I was working nights and then I stopped having time to listen to it. And then I think during lockdown I started re-listening to it but still didn't get very far. I should catch up at some point. Yeah, that's fair. Welcome to Night Vale's a lot more... I mean, it is a radio show. It's more segmented, which is kind of why I like it, but I have to be in the right mood for it. But yeah, I definitely get what you mean about it just kind of fading into the background sometimes. I'm getting there. Remind myself to stay in the camera frame. Morning, Musha. How are you? I started early this morning to see if my hands will hold up to 4 hours. Oh, and Dancer, good morning. Yeah, that's fair, Dancer. For me, like, and it'll be interesting to see if I can keep up with my podcasts going forward, because up until now, I've had like a 45-minute to an hour commute to work on the bus. So that's when I would listen to all my podcasts, was on the bus. But now I'm gonna have like a 3-minute walking commute. So like I still listen to podcasts and stuff while I'm crafting. So it'll be interesting to see if I can keep up with them. But like I was saying, most of the ones I listen to are like documentary ones, so... Ooh, fic! Yeah! Go for it, you got this. I should work on fic. That's actually one of my goals for this week, since I have this week off in between my two new job, or in between my old job and my new job, and I have a plot bunny that I really want to get written, so I'm gonna try to get that at least banged out this week, if not fully ready to go. The Thancred and Urianger one, the modern domestic AU that I was telling you about. I mean, it's a Thancred and Urianger fic, so getting it banged out is probably appropriate, to be honest. Yeah, no, the plot bunny I have, because I love modern AUs on things, and just kind of figuring out how characters would translate to like a more mundane modern world. So the idea that I have is that Thancred is a single father, well, quote unquote single father. His sister Minfilia passed away and left him care of her daughter Reen. So Thancred's technically her uncle. And neither he nor Reen are particularly happy about this, because they're both just kind of like, okay, what do we do now? And of course, they're both still mourning Minfilia in their own ways and just kind of don't know what to do with themselves. And so Thancred, being Thancred, is doing his Thancred things. And Urianger is a waiter at a strip club to try to earn money to get through graduate school. So Thancred and Urianger meet at a strip club and then stuff happens. Guest starring, how did I have it? Guest starring Gishdola as like Thancred's old friend that kind of serves as a surrogate mother to Reen and keeps both of them from going completely crazy. And then Graha and the twins, and probably my Warrior of Light Kriya, as like fellow students of Urianger's that just kind of turn his life into a soap opera. Good morning, Kifa. Hello. I am rambling my way through Fic Plot Bunny. You tuned in at the perfect time. Yes, Urianger with Urianger syntax working in a strip club, right? It's beautiful. I do mean hexagons. I don't make the other kind of hexes, as far as I know. But yeah, so that's like the premise of it. And I don't have actual plot. I'm just kind of hoping that once I start writing and put them in the same room, plot will happen. Because that's usually kind of how it goes for me. I just kind of turn my muses loose and then the fic happens without me planning much. Oh, also, of course, Gaia as Rin's new girlfriend. And Thancred has no idea how to handle that either. Yes, Kite, exactly. Exactly. Also, sorry, Dancer, this is all FF14 stuff. There we go. Until you have big plots. Yeah. This is why all of my big multi-chapter fics never get finished. Ever. Because I'm terrible at outlining and actually planning stuff. I'm much better at, like, here's a one-shot, go. At most, I just kind of let my muses ramble, and then I'll read it over and go, okay, well, do I need an extra scene here? Like, okay, this feels like a jump. I should put something extra in here. And then I kind of half edit it that way. Yeah, that's fair, Dancer. I have a fairly, well, not large. I should keep working on my deathcore fic. Because I quite like that one, and I do have some plot for that one. I just have to figure out how to make myself write it. A tiny, oh so small, very little Otto and Farron? Quite possibly. Is there a particular prompt or just them? Closing it at 180k? Dang, Muja. That's incredible. I feel like that definitely having a co-author helps though, because then you can bounce ideas off each other. Give you inspiration for art. I think I can do that. I'll see what I can come up with. Now I need a pin. I'm a professional. Oh, you're just the editor? I mean, still, that's an important job that often gets overlooked. Okay, fun fact. Returned from Castrum Fulminus. Ooh, fun times. Fun fact. Kara and I met. Well, we met through a mutual friend that was online. But then we really started like talking and hit it off when Kara offered to edit my fanfics for me. Because at the time, oh god, this is gonna date me so much. Ugh. At the time, I was working on a extremely large, extremely epic, sprawling story set Yu-Gi-Oh! And but it was so large and so sprawling that I was losing track of details. And Kara's got like a really, really, really good memory for the written word. Like once she reads something, she will remember it. So like I was messing up details, like if a character was right or left-handed, or when their birthday was, that kind of thing. And but Kara would remember that, so she'd be reading my fics and she'd be like, "Hey, that doesn't match what she said literally 10,000 words and 3 fics ago." But she just remembered. So she contacted me and offered to do the editing for me and like beta read for me to make sure I caught all my details. And yeah, from there we just started talking and became best friends. And we definitely did the lesbian thing where we were dating, like other people knew we were dating before we were officially dating. Ah, Merlin, thank you. Thank you for continuing your sub. I appreciate that. Yeah, so literally like 3 or 4 different people. Like when I tried to come out to my sister, I was like, yeah, so Kara and I are dating. And my sister stared at me and went, yeah, I know. And I was like, wait, what? Because just from the way that she had seen us acting together, I guess it was, fairly obvious. Yeah, so that's how we became friends and hit it off, is she was editing my fanfics for me. Oh my god, Merlin, you're just collecting all my badges, aren't you? Merlin, you're gonna have an entire Pokemon League of Twitch badges soon enough. Fuck yeah, you're a collector. Yeah, right? And it's such a good way to engage with the authors and engage with the fandom if you don't feel like you can write much yourself and you have the mind of an editor. Yeah, that's awesome, Musha. I still tend to run my fics by Kara first, just to be like, hey, does this make sense? Is it missing anything? Does it need another scene? Please, I'm overthinking this. Take another look at it for me. I mean, yeah, Merlin, you've got my first badge, you've got my artist badge, you've got my mod badge. And then I think once you do emotes for me, I think that gives you another badge. What? Thank you, Kitsune. Oh, much appreciated. Yeah, no, that's exactly it, Muja. All the badges. I told you, all the badges. You get all of them. Yeah, that's true. That's very true, Musha. If that's something you're going to pay attention to anyway, might as well. Alright, so this is the last one we'll need for there. But this is actually going to be a star. So I've got the fabric that I'm going to be using for the points next. Because the stars take so long. Okay. So this is a very directional fabric. So I should figure out how I want it oriented. Whether I want it oriented across the flat side. Oh my god, that's precious. Thank you for feeding the little dragon, Merlin. That was precious. And entertaining. I hadn't seen what the animations were before. Yeah, that's a thing, Muja. I've done that before too. Yeah, go for it. I figured it was a cool way to burn channel points. Ooh, battling. Yay! I won. Or I guess Carby won. Excellent. Oh, he gets a little crown. That's so cute. Precious. Okay, so do I want it oriented across the points, or do I want it oriented across... I think I want it oriented across the points. So as long as I stay consistent with that. Yeah, that crown is adorable. This is a real cute extension. Yes, you can breed the dragon. And I think it'll let you either scroll through and choose one that belongs to another user, or it will generate a random one. I don't mind either way. I have no preference. I don't mind what this thing looks like. They're all cute. There's a bunch of different... Oh, there we go. Let's see what we come out with. Because there's a bunch of different, like, traits and stuff. You can feed it tacos, you can feed it cookies. There is also, like, an actual dragon breed that looks a lot more draconic. But I liked this one that's more, like, fuzzy, cuddly, mammalish. Yeah, no, this is a really cute extension. It is called Dragon Pets, I believe, on Twitch. It's very cute. I was looking for a way to, like, have something more interesting going on my screen while I'm sewing, because I know it doesn't always... Ooh, carrots! There's not always a lot going on while I'm sewing, so I figured having a little dragon pet is a good way to eat channel points and also have some fun. And I believe feeding it keeps it happy and also levels it up so that when you battle it, it's better, I guess. Yeah, exactly. I think I have 750,000 channel points for Julie. Just because she doesn't really have anything to redeem them on and they just keep building up. So yeah, hopefully this might avoid that. Go for it, Merlin. If you think it's cute and want to sketch it, sketch it. If you go to my actual Twitch about page, there is a widget on there that you can go into the widget and see like my profile of all of the there's a profile page that shows the entire collection of ones that I've bred and had. So you can go in and see a bunch of the different traits and stuff. And I named it Carby because it looks vaguely like a carbuncle, at least to me. The first one I created had like little dot eyes and looked extremely carbuncle-like. So that's why I called it that. Some of them are weird looking. Yeah, some of them are. Some of them are absolutely adorable, and then some of them are kind of bizarre, which I kind of like that about them. No, that's probably not going to be enough for... Yeah, some of the more like anime-esque eyes are a bit strange. But they're cute. Spoil the hell out of Carby. Yay! The baby. I think it can only be bred like once a day or once a stream, something like that. But the rest of it should be unlimited. Oh, hydrate. Alright. Thank you, Muja. Everybody else also hydrate. A latte counts for hydration, right? I forgot to grab juice before stream. Maybe I'll take a break and do that. Oh, nope. Okay. Smart person. I already knotted this end. I do not need to knot this end. That would be a problem. But yes, hydration and stretching is for everybody. So when you redeem channel points, you redeem them for all of chat. I mean, I can't force you to do anything. No, you're cuddly. I see no indication that you are thirsty, Kate. I just see indications you are cuddly. that's true. You can be both. That's fair. That is fair. But yeah, the Little Dragons extension is still a work in progress, and I know they're planning to add like an item shop, hopefully to give us, like, I'm hoping little hats and things to be able to further dress up our babies. But yeah, it looks like they've got some really cool plans for this extension, so. And it's cute as heck. No, that's totally fair, Merlin. Thank you for the heads up. I appreciate it. But yeah, the family stuff definitely comes first. Oh, speaking of stream things this week, though, since I do have the week off work and don't have to try to rush home from work, Tuesday and Wednesday I am planning to start both my streams at 5 instead of 6. Go for a little bit longer. Do some bonus content. Wednesday will be Pokemon as usual. Tuesday, I think I mentioned, I think I'm actually going to start a new project because I've got some really nice yarn that is trans flag colored. So I think I'm going to start a shawl on Tuesday. A crochet shawl, because there's a new, or not a new, but there's a stitch that I've been wanting to try that I think would make a really nice like vest sort of shawl thing. So I'll try that out, see how it goes. And it's Pride Month, so I figured I might as well. Good way to honor. So yeah, Tuesday 5 p.m. Come watch me fumble my way through a stitch I've never tried before. My effort lately has been to try to teach myself more lace stitches for crochet. Because I've always done like really solid blanket stitches and things. So I'm trying to learn some of the more lacy, pretty stitches. I like being able to do single stitches though, rather than trying to follow a pattern. Just because most of the time when I'm crocheting, I'm doing it while watching something else. You know, I've got TV on or I've got a stream on or whatever. So when I crochet, I kind of want to be able to just zone out and do the same stitch over and over and over, rather than have to, you know, count and switch up my stitch and pay attention to the pattern. But I found this really neat dictionary of lace stitches that are, yeah, just single stitches. So I'm gonna hopefully try some of them out. See how it goes. The other reason I want to try like a vest is so I made a cardigan for Kara and it's too thick. Like it's too warm. She can't wear it. I wear it, but she gets too hot in it. So I want to make her like a much lighter weight vest sort of thing that she'll actually be able to wear. So I think I know how to do it. So the trans-colored one will be a test of the pattern as well to see if it works out the way that I think it will. And if it does, plan is to probably sell the trans-colored one on Etsy with proceeds going to Chris's GoFundMe. And then I will make Kara one that is bright pink. Because of course. And hopefully I'll be able to work on shaker charms this week as well. I've got more molds and some dies coming in the mail. I was hoping they'd be here Friday and they were not. So we will hope that they show up earlier in the week rather than later so that I can get some work done on those. But yeah, it's gonna be a good week. And tomorrow night, I think Kara and Jade realized that is it Resident Evil? The Welcome to Raccoon City movie is on Amazon Prime. So Kara's off on Tuesday. So tomorrow night, the three of us are just gonna flop on the couch and get shit-faced and watch Welcome to Raccoon City. So it's gonna be a good night. Testing out some designs on mugs this week. Oh, I need that healer mug. That's amazing. Good luck. I hope they turn out well. I would totally buy that healer mug. And then just throw it at Jade's head. Because she's usually the one that heals for us. Right? Exactly. I can think of like 5 healers right off the bat that would buy that mug. No, mugs. What do you mean? Mugs bounce. Totally. Totally. It's fine. It's... Yeah, that does sound like a carob. But did you die? Yeah, that absolutely sounds like carob. Oh man, I need to run a Glea. I'm hoping that Julie has the brain to run a Glea today, and that I will be able to join in. Because it's such a fun raid. Ooh, Jobstone of choice. That's cool. Yeah, that's great, Merlin. Yeah, I've only run a Glea once, and I somehow managed to get the chest piece that I needed from it, and I just haven't gotten around to running it again. but I know Julie was saying that if she's got the mental fortitude for it, that she was planning to go through it today on stream. So, fingers crossed. Hopefully she's feeling well enough. Yeah, I only ran it once. And yeah, managed to get the aiming chest piece first try. I don't know. Because there was like... And I think 3 of our 4 DPS in our party were aiming. So I don't know how I managed to roll highest on it. That was some insane luck. Yeah, I need to run it more. Someone has to be lucky to inspire everybody else. That's true. I mean, I guess if there were 3 ranged DPS, I had a 1 in 3 chance of rolling highest, so... Ooh, you got this, Merlin. Come on, there we go. Sasha must be really asleep. Usually by now she's up here. My door's open. But when I went down to get coffee, she was asleep in her... she's got a cat pan that's like right under the window. And she was curled up in a sleep in it. So I'm betting that's probably where she still is. She just hasn't woken up enough to realize I'm live. Come on. Play nice with me. There we go. So, funnily enough, as soon as they announced the name of the new A-Raid, Kara and I just kind of looked at each other and started giggling. And had no questions about how to pronounce it, because we actually have a lady at, well, my former workplace now, Oh, I'll never get tired of saying that. But we have a lady that is Greek, and her name is Aglaia. Like, it's so pretty. And I was like, oh, well, now I know what her name means. That's kind of cool. But yeah, it is in fact I guess in modern times at least, it's a name that gets used for girls. But yeah, I thought it was really pretty. There we go. There we go. 2 rounds done. Yeah, that should be enough for 1 hex. Or actually, take the paper out of this one. I love this fabric. It's so cute. I actually got it as, so one of my favorite companies to order quilting fabric from is a place called Missouri Star Quilts, or Missouri Star Quilting Company. They have a fantastic online shop, and so if I'm looking for specific quilting fabrics, I usually go to them first. And they have options where they let you order mystery fat quarters and mystery what are called charm packs, which are packs of 5.5 by 5.5 fabric squares, and typically it'll be like 1 line of fabric, 2 or 3 pieces of each design that's in that line. I'll put it in chat. And so they'll let you order mystery ones. So the last time I put an order in, I was ordering the fabric for my nephew's baby blanket. And since I was doing an order anyway, and, you know, paying shipping anyway, I ordered a couple of the mystery charm packs. And this was one of them, and they actually sent me 2 of the same one. So I've actually got, oh, thank you, Merlin. Merlin has dropped the link to it in chat. So I've actually got 2 sets of this, which was actually really, really nice of whoever filled the order, because that gives me a little bit more leeway in, you know, it just gives me a little bit more of those same fabrics to be able to use. So I actually really, really appreciate whoever made that decision. But yeah, whenever I order from them, I always throw on like a couple mystery fat quarters or whatever, because it's just fun to see what you get, and then, you know, it builds your stash. I'm a scrap quilter anyway. Oh, burp. Nope, that doesn't work. There's sort of 2 kinds of quilters. There's And we've already sort of touched on this considering the way I write fanfics. Oh, that was a great horned owl, supposedly. That was our noon owl. More specifically, that was my Audubon bird clock. But yeah, so there's two kinds of quilters. There's the planning quilter that, you know, looks at their pattern and orders 5 yards of the same fabric and follows their pattern exactly. And then there's me, a scrap quilter, who is a gremlin with no more than a single fat quarter of any one fabric at any one time, who just kind of builds their blankets as they go. I lie. I'm a little bit more organized than that, but I'm definitely more toward the scrappy side. And good morning, Kuma. Coffee is good. Tea is good. Juice is also good. Ooh, black tea is good. I have a cold latte that is quite nice. Oh, Merlin has redeemed a stretch. Let me just finish this. Because I was actually just thinking, I've been going for 2 hours, and I'm planning to go for another 2-ish hours. So I should take a short break. So once I finish this hex, I will do so. And I will go get a juice for future hydration purposes as well. Haha, just enough thread. I'm a genius. I was thinking the other day that one of my sub emotes should be like a thread chicken, considering how often I play thread chicken, but I don't even know how you would render that in emote form. Yes. That's so satisfying. Look at that. Just enough thread. Oh, I love that. Okay. I am going to get up and take a brief break. Everybody else, stretch. Go get something to hydrate with if you haven't. And I will be back here in a few minutes. Okay, back. Oh, cookies. I'm sure that made Carpy very happy. Thank you. Oh, big bootied carpenter bees sounds so nice. That reminds me, my grandfather, when I was young, had an ongoing feud with the carpenter bees. So my grandfather was an architect, and he designed and overseed the construction of the house that he and my grandmother lived in for 40 years. So it was beautiful. Like, I love this house so much because of course it's the house that I knew growing up. And the back porch had these beautiful, like, exposed rafters and, like, raw wood siding that the carpenter bees absolutely loved. And so my grandfather, I just remember him every summer, he would just get so mad about the carpenter bees putting holes in his house. I mean, and of course they weren't. It was just like, a hole in the rafters. It was never enough that it was causing, like, structural damage. It was just the offense of the thing that they were putting holes in his house. I need more thread. I actually think that might have been the only time I've ever heard my grandfather swear, is when we were sitting on the back garden or on the back porch, and we just watched a carpenter bee drill into one of the rafters. And of course it's 10 meters up, so we can't reach it or anything, even with like a broom. I just remember my grandfather swearing at it. Yeah, exactly, Kuma. Don't they know how much work he put into this house? How dare they eat it? Well, they don't even eat it, right? It's, I think, because they build their nests in there, don't they? Yeah, exactly. His beautiful rafters now have holes in them. Perfectly round little bee holes. And now I'm just imagining "this hole is mine, it was made for me" meme, except it's a bee and my grandpa's rafters. But also, yeah, that weather sounds lovely, Kuma. It is currently, looks like 17 degrees and sunny outside, which is lovely. Very bright, but still lovely. There's a, like a drainage pond that's not far from our house. So Kara and I are in the habit that every evening after work we'll walk around the pond. Especially right now because there are ducklings. There's a couple pair of mallards that are raising. So last night we think there's 6. Sorry, Kite. It's for our little pet. It'll randomly breed it with another one, and so we get different colors and different traits. I think it can only be redeemed like once every 24 hours though. But yeah, that's what that's for. But yeah, so last night on our walk, Kara and I counted 6 ducklings at once. So, I mean, they're still so small and so fluffy. They're like the size of my fist. They're so little. So we stood there for a few minutes and watched them paddle around under the watchful eye of their mother. Gosh, they were so little. I can't get over how small they were. But I mean, it's a nice, safe area. It's back from all the roads. It's back up against some residentials, but most of the residentials have like fences along their backs. So it's like a really sheltered area. It's actually in behind the college where I'll be working now. So I'll actually be able to go out on my lunch breaks and sit beside the duck pond. It'll be so nice. Yes, Kuma. Oh, and Kite, this will probably be of interest to you as well. At the suggestion of Dobby, I added a channel points reward to make me go check my board games and do my turns on stream. And yes, I know I'm in board games with both of you, but I figure either you could do the honor system and look away while I'm reviewing my board games, or if you've spent 1,000 channel points on it, sure, you have earned the right to look at my cards. Or whatevers. And as Kitsune mentioned, it's not as though you'll probably remember what they are anyway, so I honestly don't care. I am losing most of my board games anyway. Yeah, exactly. I figured it's a good sync. It's a good sync, and then you guys get to be amused at my various board games, whether inept or not. I won Mahjong? How? Well, I guess I did get that one really good hand. But I'm not typically great at Mahjong. I stumbled into that hand completely by accident. Also, yeah, I've noticed Kite, but it's still fun. I never promised I would be great at board games. I just said I would play board games. Yeah, I had that one really, really good hand. I did not realize that was enough for me to win the thing. But honestly, does Mahjong on BGA really count as Mahjong? It's not Mahjong? Yeah, that's fair. Do live Mahjong? I would love that. Like I said, I'm actually off this week, so I might actually have the time and energy to do live Mahjong. I could come do Friday board games. I probably will. Because I'll actually have the brain space for voice chat, possibly. Probably. Maybe. Trust me. Electronic cookies? Ooh. Those are the second best kind of cookies. Was speaking of making things, so I mentioned that Jade and Kara and I are gonna get shit-faced and watch Welcome to Raccoon City tomorrow night. I'm gonna make alcoholic pudding for the occasion. We did it once during the initial lockdown, and it was delicious. So I'm gonna do it again. And it's just like, it's Jell-O pudding mix, and you just replace about a quarter or a third of the milk with either Bailey's or Kahlua, and you get alcoholic pudding, and it's amazing. Horribly, horribly intoxicating and amazing. Oh, that reminds me, I should get like Oreos to crumble over top too. And double check that the Kahlua in the fridge is still good. It should be. I need more papers. And I did get a glass of juice while I was up, so I am able to hydrate properly now. Well, more properly than a latte. Hydrate or dihydrate. Exactly. Hydrate, high date. Ooh. Is that what you call drinking with a partner? Oh wait, no. I think a hydrate, high date is what happened on our honeymoon when Kara and I went to high tea. I think that's how that works. I have always kind of assumed the difference between tea and high tea is sandwiches. Because, like, my impression has been tea, as far as, like, British afternoon tea, is tea and, like, scones and small cakes. And then high tea is earlier, like, brunchish, and involves scones and sandwiches and tiny sweets. Kitsune or Kite, please correct me if I am wrong, but I believe that's always been my impression of the difference. Afternoon tea with sandwiches. I thought so. And usually you get... Oh yeah, Dancer is in the UK. I'd forgotten about that. And usually high tea you're supposed to get, like, dressed up. Like, it's fancier and more, like, formalized. Not culinary, but setting. It's classist. Yeah, that would also make sense. Kara and I went for high tea at the Bouchard Gardens, which are a beautiful set of botanical gardens out on Vancouver Island in BC. Actually, not too far from where Julie is. Yeah, it was delicious. And actually not terribly priced, considering how fancy it was. We were expecting it to be a lot more expensive than it ended up being. But yeah, it was delicious. They had like a tiny lemon tart that I still have dreams about. And I'm not a huge fan of smoked salmon, but Kara said that the smoked salmon was absolutely divine, so I will take her word for it. Smoked rainbow trout. Now that does sound good. I love rainbow trout. I have never seen it smoked though. I wonder if that's a regional thing? Like, it makes sense, but I've never actually heard of smoked trout. I'm gonna have to look into that now because that does sound amazing. Now, here's the weird thing. I love salmon. And I love salmon sushi. Like, salmon sushi is incredible. But something about how the texture changes when you smoke it, I do not like. It turns it into, like, salmon jerky. And I greatly dislike the texture. Very popular in Wisconsin. Interesting. Yeah, I will definitely have to look into smoked rainbow trout because that sounds divine. Hilariously, we had rainbow trout for dinner last night. Okay, so it's not all like I've had it where it's not turned into jerky, but it's something about the texture of most smoked salmon. Orange. So, yes. I'm with it today. I'm on the ball. It wasn't like that dry either. It was like wet jerky. I don't know. It was tougher than normal salmon. I mean, also, keep in mind, I live in Ontario, which is somewhat far from the ocean. So, the seafood that we tend to get here is not highest quality just by baseline. Because it has to be either frozen or, you know, it's not the freshest by the time it gets to us. Yeah, that's fair, Misha. If I'm gonna have bagels, I want a minimum half-inch of cream cheese on it, and that's it. I want it to be almost more cream cheese than bagel. Oh, now I want bagels. And there's a Kettleman's like a block and a half from us. I might have to walk over to Kettleman's for bagels. Yeah, exactly, Kate. I want cream cheese on a convenient base. And if I can like sprinkle some avocado on top, even better. But yeah, mostly I want cream cheese on a convenient base. That's pretty much what got me through university. I'm definitely willing to give it a try. For sure. We must sell it somewhere in the city. I need to see if I can hunt myself down some hexagonal graph paper for quilt design. Because I found myself wondering the other day if I could replicate like the Apico bee sprites, but in a hexagon pixel art. So I kind of want to find some graph paper and mess around with that. Because I think that would be adorable. Yeah, that's definitely fair, Dancer. I'm kind of the same way with some things. Texture can be a big barrier for me. Like actually, strawberries and raspberries, I like the taste of both of them. And like I'll drink the juice or I'll eat them in ice cream, but I can't actually eat the berries themselves because the tiny little seeds create such a problem for me as far as the texture. I just cannot eat them. Blueberries are the same way too. Blueberries too. I don't like the texture of them fresh, even though I love the taste of them. Like I love blueberry muffins, but I cannot eat fresh blueberries. Yeah, texture absolutely matters, and people that don't understand that. Really, like, it costs you nothing to try to be understanding to other people's problems. Yeah, raspberry seeds are rude. Right? Getting in the way of that delicious taste. Yeah, yeah, disliking mashed potatoes on the basis of texture is kind of strange, because that's like the most basic texture in existence, I think. It's like the default texture is mashed potatoes. You understand it, you can't accept it. That's okay. I get your meaning. Alright, so theoretically, with yeah, that's a good point, Dancer. Mashed potatoes can have a wide variety of textures depending on how dry they are. Like, I don't like dry mashed potatoes either. Give me more butter on that, please. Make it wetter. Yes, I know, phrasing. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting, Luja. That's my point about mashed potatoes can have a wide variety of textures depending on how mashed they are and how dry they are and what you put in them. Oh, sour cream mashed potatoes are the best. Christmas? Apparently the music has decided it's Christmas. Gouda cheese and sour cream. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Misha, I'm gonna come to your house just for mashed potatoes. Okay, so theoretically, because I oriented all of the green patches the same way, when I sew them all together, the lattice work should all be going the same direction. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Dancer. Yeah, carrots are another big one. I cannot do the crunch of a raw carrot. It has to be soft or like in something else. Yeah, I totally understand carrots. Yeah, the people that can just like pick up a carrot and bite into it Bugs Bunny style. Just like, ooh. Yeah. No, too soft carrot is fine. Too crunchy carrot is bad. I cannot raw carrot. I mean, anyone that wants my share of raw carrots in the world is welcome to them, because I will not eat them. Mid-soft carrot. Yeah, mid-soft carrot is okay. It just can't be like fully crunchy for me. Raw carrot and hummus. Oh, that's interesting. I've never heard of that before either, as far as like a snack. Kara and I usually do, we'll make toast and then slather it in hummus and then put sliced cucumber on top. We usually do cucumber and hummus, and that's good. See, apples are another one that I find the texture varies a lot between different breeds of apple. So, like, some apples I'm fine eating raw, and then some I can't. So it really depends on the apple for me, just to make sure. Okay, so it is gonna matter which way I orient them. Don't necessarily want it to line up. I just want it to be all going in the same direction and not like off kilter like that. Okay, so it is gonna matter. I just have to pay attention. That's fine. Come on, thread. Work with me here. I mean, potassium, like anything else, is one of those things. Like, I think iodine is another one where the body can't function with 0, but it can't function with like slightly too much either. Like, humans are an evolutionary mess. Well, you have to eat some of this to be able to function, but don't eat too much or you'll die. Like, that's so wild to me. Ooh, yeah. That's not good, Musha. Oh yeah, and when I went downstairs, Sasha was indeed exactly where I had left her. In the pan underneath the window. When I went into the kitchen for juice, she got up and followed me, and sat down next to the food bowl, and then stared at me as I walked away. So she's probably gone back to the pan. To be clear, she has kibble in her food bowl upstairs, but she wants her wet food. She does not get her wet food until 6 p.m., but that doesn't stop her from hoping. I do deny her. I deny her early wet food. She's already round. She does not need to become rounder. It was funny because she followed me over and sat down next to the food bowl. And I noticed that her water was kind of low, so I picked up her water dish and refilled her water dish and set it down. And she immediately stuck her nose in it like she was expecting it to be wet food, and then stared at me in complete betrayal when she realized it was just water. And it's like, honey, you saw me pick up your water dish that's always had nothing but water in it. And it's very, very different than your food dish. She is a ball. I mean, she's also a long hair and extremely fluffy, which adds to the ball appeal. She's actually not super fat. She's just extremely fluffy. But she is getting a little bit of a pudge, as indoor cats tend to. No, not a single brain cell at all. She is beautiful, and she is dumb as a rock. Oh. I'm on thread. There we go. She takes up the legendary cat Jorts. It's, yeah. I feel like she is slightly smarter than Jorts. She's not smart, but when you stare into her eyes, it's not the look of elevator music like you get with some cats. You can tell that she's trying to process. She's just not coming up with much. Yeah, Sasha's not a tabby. Sasha is black with, well, dark brown, so that she might as well be black, with a little white locket. Oh no. Yeah, tabbies, I think, tend to be the dumbest. Although we were joking last night, so Sasha, being a long hair, just has continual problems with hairballs. We have her on a hairball control food. It's just kind of, that's how it is. And so we will, once or twice a week, drizzle olive oil on her wet food. Because olive oil is cat safe in small doses. And will help, for lack of a better word, lubricate the insides to help the hairball pass in whichever direction. Oh yeah, we do brush frequently. It's just she has that much fur. So Kara and I were discussing last night how we have to lube our cat. And she was like, well, how about we just butter her like Jorts? Maybe that would work. And I'm like, can you imagine she would be a sad, oily rat. And it would be terrible. And she would hate us so much. Like, no, we are not going to butter our cat. That does not work the way you think it will. Yeah, Crisco for cats, exactly. Just a little preventative olive oil. And it does seem to help. Like my dad used to say, there's, There's 3 constants in life. Dogs bark, birds tweet, cats puke. It's just, if you're a cat owner, that's just kind of what you gotta be prepared for. Yes, butter is an oil. Absolutely. Sure. Yes. I'm gonna redeem this on myself. Everybody drink a thing. I'm actually thirsty, so I'm gonna... nom nom juice. Because apparently I get unlimited points to my own channel, which is nifty. An extra hydrate. Everybody hydrate again. Thank you, Kitsune. Extra hydrate. Appreciated. Oh, I can take this paper out, which will make it easier. Water, another thing that your body can't live without, that it will die with too much of. Human biology is dumb. That? Yes, like that. So I want those two. There we go. Body is mostly soda? Possibly. I mean, any liquid is hydrating. So, like, the idea, from what I understand, the idea that tea and coffee dehydrate you is something of a myth. They can act as a diuretic, but overall it is still a net positive liquid gain. So, if all you can drink is coffee, still drink coffee, because that's better than not drinking anything at all. Obviously, it's better to have juice or a sports drink or best of all water, but if it's a choice between something like coffee or tea and nothing at all, still intake the fluids. Hydration comes in many forms. So, like, if all you can get yourself to drink is soda, go for it. It's better than nothing. Yeah, exactly. If you're making your coffee strong enough to be a net a net dehydration, it will probably give you caffeine poisoning first. Exactly. Which, don't do that, because caffeine poisoning is not a good time. Please try to avoid that if at all possible. Yeah, that is, so yeah, that's, as far as just liquids go, anything is good, but you also have to take into consideration what else is in there. Yeah, soda has so much sugar. Even a lot of juices have way too much sugar. But again, if that's all you can get yourself to drink, do it. Go for it. Because drinking is important. And dehydration is going to hit you faster and harder than oversugaring, if that makes sense. But yeah, obviously, if you can switch to water or carbonated water. Yeah, I mean, for sure, Dancer. Exactly. If you can't, then that's totally fair. The hydration factor is more important than anything else. Like, I don't like plain water either. So most of the time, I'm drinking either juice or lemonade or like a Gatorade. Because I dislike carbonation. I hate carbonation. Just the way that it feels on the back of my nose and throat, I can't deal with it. So soda and also soda water are straight off the table for me because I just can't. Oh. Burp. Aw. Well, that's good of you, Kuma. I'm glad that it's hopefully more tolerable now. Okay, thank you for stopping by, Kuma. Have fun with your kiddo. Give them big hugs. And enjoy the rest of your day. Bye. That is not enough thread for anything. Let's see. I have 2. So I'm going to need more. Uh-oh. Ooh. Yeah, that sucks, Muja. Oof. How many bids were in on it last time? Jesus, 110. That's ridiculous. $24. Yeah, that sucks. I know Kara put in a bid for one that I think also ended up with about 20 on it and didn't get it. So she was gonna go scout around for new locations. Oh, yeah, that's awful. Only 2 mediums up? Oh, yeah, that sucks. 2 mediums total? Or like 2 mediums in a certain location? If it's 2 mediums total, ouch. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll have to let her know. Oof. Yeah, that sucks. But Muja, I thought you had the biggest apartment of all. You've got like the whole diadem, right? Well, on the plus side, it looks as though my hands are well able to hold up to a 4-hour stream, which is excellent. So I will probably start closer to 10-ish going forward. Give myself more sewing time. This may be shooting myself in the foot, but I find it interesting how I never see the like the bot chatters, the ones that are like, buy followers from me. I never see them when I'm doing crafting and art streams. It's only the gaming streams, which is interesting. Do the bot programmers only think that it's gamers that are desperate enough to fall for that, or what? Or is it just a matter of like popularity thresholds? Like, there are craft streams that sometimes get hundreds of viewers, so I wonder if they would pop up more likely there. Scanning based on tags. Oh, that would make sense too. Interesting. Why there is always actually a mod around for... I mean, yeah, that totally makes sense. I just kind of figured it had something to do with the game category or the number of viewers. Interesting. Because I've never gotten one while streaming crafting. I've gotten, I think, one while streaming Pokemon. And then that singular RimWorld stream I did, I got like 3 or 4. Which is what made me think about it. Phone just buzzed. I'm betting that's Julie notification. It is Julie notification. Also, look, Marlon, I wasn't kidding. Ah, no. See? Yes, a Julification. That lock screen art is by Merlin, by the way. I told you! I told you it was my lock screen. It makes me smile every time I see it. Those are our D&D characters. They kiss a lot. Probably not as much as either of them would like to. Cat hair. There we go. No, Marilyn, you're amazing. Get back out here. And yes, I will write things to try to inspire some more drawings. Yeah, I saw the Discord notification. I just haven't gone over to look at it yet. I suspect I know what it is. Currently Ignis from 15. That's fair. Definitely fair. That is a good-looking gentleman. Tarsi and Gareth. Aww, babies. For a long time I had an animated lock screen that was just like shooting stars. Ooh, steak for Kirby. Feed the baby. Hmm. Tacos. Tacos also sound good. I seriously think I'm gonna have to walk over to Kettleman's after stream and get bagels, though. Now that we've talked about them. They make like the best sesame seed bagels ever. Okay. Pay attention to my patterning here, like I said I was gonna. No. Yes. Yes. You must leave. I suppose. Do your adulting. Bye, Merlin. Thank you for stopping by. I hope your adulting things go easily. Did I slide that the wrong way? I hope I didn't slide that the wrong way. Did I? Is that lined up? Yes, that should be good, I think. No, that's definitely off. That's also off. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So fold it. There we go. That's the side I need matched up. This is why I don't usually pattern match, because it's a pain. But when you have directional things like stripes and plaids, it's kind of necessary. Oh, she come. Come here. Come here, baby. Come on. There we go. Hello. You're late. You're late. I've been up here for 3 hours. Merlin leaves and Sasha immediately arrives. Hi. Are you gonna settle down? Are you gonna settle? Ma'am, please. Yes, Sasha. Everybody in chat says hi. Well, everybody in chat says Kitty, which is you. Please lay down. What? What? You demand attention. Lay down. Such floof. It is absolutely how you say hi to a cat, by yelling, "Kitty!" and making squid fingers. Lay down. Ma'am, please. Yes, hello. You are taking up my entire lap, aren't you? She's actually watching my computer screen, and I'm not sure why. Lay down. Yes. Ma'am. What? Yes, that's a camera. Do you want to lay down? Or is this just the Sasha stream now? Ma'am, your haunches are exactly where I need to be putting my sewing. Lay down. Yeah, she has beautiful eyes. She has the cat eyes where they're mostly yellow, and then they've got like a ring of green right around the pupil. She has beautiful eyes. There we go. Are you gonna stay settled? Somehow I don't think so. What is your tail doing? You're gonna get mad if I put my sewing on you, aren't you? Yes, you are. Ma'am. girl. You see what I mean about her being somewhat orb-shaped. Yeah, she has a surprisingly loud purr. Oh, okay. Bye. She'll be back. Probably. Apparently she didn't want to settle, she just wanted some attention. Which is fair, I suppose. I can't believe it took her this long to realize I was up here. I even went down and poked her when I took a break. I figured she'd follow me back upstairs, and she didn't. trying to think of other fun stories I can tell. Oh! So I could talk about the first time Kara and I kissed. So after... Well, okay, so we hadn't started dating yet. So the first time we ever met in person, I flew up to Canada to go to Anime North with her, which is this huge anime convention in Toronto. And so we went to the convention, and then I came back to Ottawa with her and hung out for a week and then flew home. And so the anime convention was in Toronto. Oh no, we didn't kiss at an anime con. That's a whole different story. So on our way back from the anime con to get from Toronto back to Ottawa, we took a Greyhound bus. Oh no, we weren't dating yet. So we took a Greyhound bus, which was, it's like a 4-5 hour drive. At this point we were just best friends, like really, really close friends. And I remember on the Greyhound ride, and it was a red eye. Like it left Toronto at 9 p.m. and we were going to be getting back to Ottawa at like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So at some point during the Greyhound ride, she fell asleep with her head on my shoulder. And I was sitting there with my headphones on, listening to music, just kind of half asleep myself in this dark Greyhound bus. And I very distinctly remember thinking, like, she's really heavy. My arm hurts and my ass is falling asleep, but I don't want to move her because she's asleep. Does that mean I'm in love with her? And I decided that, yeah, it probably did. And I was too much of a chicken to do anything about it. So fast forward, 10 months? So the Anime Con and the Greyhound ride and me realizing I loved her was in May. And I went home without doing anything about it. The following January, there was going to be another Anime Con in my neck of the woods down in Ohio. So we made plans that she was going to fly down in January to visit me this time. And we were going to did basically the same thing, where we did an anime con the first weekend. And then she came back to my university and stayed in my dorm room with me for a week so we could just like hang out. So that's what we did. We did the con the first weekend, drove back to my dorm, and Monday, I'm trying to remember the exact sequence of events. Monday, we both started feeling sick. Like, we had both caught con plague. Luckily, it was like the sore throat, stuffy nose, coughing, sneezing sort of con plague. It wasn't like puking, luckily, because I only had a small bathroom. But we were both fucking miserable. Somewhat luckily, it started to snow to the point where my university canceled classes on, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that entire week, we just kind of huddled together miserably in my dorm room. And I remember we had like a trash bag between us because we were going through so many tissues, blowing our noses. And just like, we watched Doctor Who. I think we marathoned all of 9 and 10, which was what was out at that point, because this would have been 2011. Yeah, we just sat miserable and marathoning Doctor Who. And I remember thinking, again, like, oh god, we've seen each other at our worst, and I still think she's fucking adorable. So at the end of that week, that weekend, the second weekend, we drove down to my parents' place because she was going to be flying out of the airport that was right near my parents' place. And I had been trying to find a time all week long to tell her that I loved her. And because we were sick and everything, it just it hadn't happened. It had never felt right. I hadn't been able to find a time and a way to tell her. So we spend a day or two at my parents' place, and then I go to drive her back to the airport for her to fly back home to Canada. And on the drive, I remember thinking, like, well, fuck, like, what if something happens? What if the plane goes down? What if I never see her again? I don't want to regret not telling her anything. So we get to the airport, and she goes and checks her bags in, and we go over to where she's going to have to go through security, and she hugs me goodbye, and we both just kind of stand there because neither of us wants to let go. And like the smooth motherfucker that I am, my line was, "Hey, Kaylee, I would like to kiss you. Can I kiss you?" And she went, "Yeah, I'd like that." And so we kissed in the fucking airport in Dayton, Ohio, which is the smallest airport in the world, because I couldn't stand to let her go without telling her. So that was February 6th of 2011. And I know that date for a fact because that's still our anniversary. So we called that our dating anniversary for the longest time because, like, we had been friends so long, we don't remember the day that we met. And, we were doing the thing where we were dating without dating. So we've always said that day, February 6th, was our anniversary. So when we started discussing getting married, we were initially planning, like, a bigger, more traditional ceremony with, like, the fluffy dresses and the reception and everything. And we were planning it to be in May because we both love the Tulip Festival here in Ottawa. So we were planning to do, like, pictures and reception and the whole big thing at the Tulip Festival. And this isn't even covering our engagement, which is a whole different story, which I will get into if you want me to. But when we were discussing getting married, we were initially planning for May, and we kept putting it off because it's just, it's so expensive. And I think it was me that finally just looked at her and went, why don't we just get married at the courthouse? Like, it doesn't have to be a big ceremony. Let's just do a little ceremony and not get it over with, but, make it official. And if we want to do a bigger ceremony in a few years, once we've saved up for it, we can, like, renew our vows or whatever. But let's just get married at the courthouse. And she was like, yeah, let's do that. So at that point, we decided to get married on February 6th, since it was our anniversary anyway. I'm sorry for any noise. Sasha is rubbing against my microphone. Baby, come here. So we actually got married at City Hall on February 6th. So that's now our official anniversary too. And that's why I remember the date that we kissed, because it's now official and set in stone. The story of how we got engaged is even nerdier. So I had always thought that if I was going to propose to her, I would want to do it in cosplay. Oh yeah, and icy as fuck. Yeah, my dad slipped and fell on his way to the ceremony. It was bad. Because February in Ottawa is stupid, and it had warmed up for like 2 days the week before our wedding. So everything had melted and then refrozen into a solid block of ice. Like, all of the sidewalks, all of the parking lots were just solid ice. It was terrible. I don't think my parents will ever forgive me, and they're never going to come back to Ottawa in the winter ever again. But so for our engagement, I had always thought, like, if I was going to propose to her, I would do it in cosplay. Because, like, that's, anime cons are such a big part of how we met and became friends and bonded, and, like, fandom has always been a big part of our lives. So I'd always kind of thought I would propose in cosplay. but I was, and we've cosplayed couples quite a bit. And I was like, no, she'd kill me. Like, she's actually pretty shy. Like, that sort of thing. She would be so embarrassed. I couldn't do that to her. And also, her mother is twice divorced. So, she's not, like, Kara's not had the best, experiences with, like, marriage and things. And so I was, and I had brought it up a couple times, sort of, you know, just like, oh, what if we ever got married and did this? And she had kind of reacted negatively. So I had started to, you know, tell myself, you know, it's okay. We don't have to get married. We are, you know, we're already living together. We're already planning to spend the rest of our lives together. We don't need to actually be married. And I was talking myself out of everything. So in October of 2018, two of our lesbian friends, one of them proposed to the other. They got engaged on Halloween, and it was the cutest shit. They both love Halloween, so while Britt was at work, Katie carved pumpkins to say, "Will you marry me?" and had them, like, set up in the entranceway of the house and, like, arranged, and it was beautiful. So as soon as Britt walked in the door from work, it was just this giant display of jack-o'-lanterns that said, "Will you marry me?" And of course she said yes. But after that, I started, like, talking about weddings a lot more, because, you know, it was on my mind, and I wanted to marry Kara, and I loved her, so I was just talking about it more. And she was shutting me down really, really hard. Like, completely, like, did not want to talk about it. Absolutely not. No way. And so I was, at that point, I was really like, okay, she doesn't want to get married. I need to lay off. I can be content with what we've got. It's fine. We don't need to be married. Well, turns out, in January of 2019, again, at an anime convention, in Quebec, which I'm not ever gonna let her live down, she proposed to me in cosplay. So we had been saying for a long time, so the main couple that we've cosplayed is the Netherlands and Canada from Axis Powers Hetalia, which is a show, oh, hey, welcome back, Kuma, which is a show where, like, each nation in the world is represented by a single character, and some of the national stereotypes become the characteristics. So, like, America is loud and brash and loves to eat hamburgers and is kind of rude and insensitive, you know, that sort of thing. So we cosplayed the Netherlands and Canada. Yeah, I know, Kate. It's like anything else where there's good parts of the fandom and very bad parts of the fandom. I'll put it that way. I made some really, really good friends in that fandom that I still have to this day, but it has its problems. But anyway, so we were cosplaying the Netherlands and Canada, and we had said for about a year and a half or so that we wanted to do, like, a more formal photo shoot where, like, I was in a full suit as the Netherlands and, like, she was in a really, really pretty dress as female Canada, and we'd do, like, a really pretty, like, formal shoot. So at this tiny, tiny anime convention in Quebec, she was like, oh, hey, how about we finally do this shoot? Like, we don't have too much else going on that weekend. We're just gonna kind of be hanging out at the con. Let's finally do this photo shoot we've been talking about. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it. So we went and, like, found her a really pretty red dress, got me, like, a tie and a waistcoat and a really nice dress shirt, you know, the whole thing. And we were gonna do this formal photo shoot. So we were helping some friends of ours table in Artist Sally that weekend. We were helping to mind the table, and in exchange I had some of my stuff for sale there. And at one point, really close to the end of the weekend, the end of Saturday, really close to the end of the day, right before, because we were going to go and do the photo shoot as soon as the dealer's room closed, and we were free to leave the table. So right, and because we were watching the table all day, we had asked a couple friends of ours, like, hey, can you go scout around the hotel that this con is in? Can you find us like a really nice place to do this photo shoot? And they were like, yeah, no problem. So right before the dealer's room was supposed to close, Kara got up to go to the bathroom, and our friend Al showed up to, because they were going to escort us over to the place that they had found to do the photo shoot. So Al shows up at the table, and Kara's not there, and Al just gets this really panicked look on their face and is like, where'd she go? Where is she? And I'm like, the bathroom? And they were like, but is she gonna come back? And I'm like, I think so. And that was the first moment I kind of realized something was a little bit weird, but like, whatever. It's an anime con. Everybody's kind of off. So Kara comes back. We gather up our stuff and get ready to go do this photo shoot, right? So Al leads us over to this really picturesque, like, courtyard area that they had found. And as we're coming down the stairs toward it, a bunch of our friends are there. And Kara's brother is there, which is another thing that I found kind of odd. But I was like, okay, you know what? It's like, we're in Quebec. We're right across the river, like, but we're in Quebec. He's probably waiting to get an Uber with us to be able to go home, to get back across the river. Like, whatever, it's no big deal. He's just gonna hang out while we do our shoot real quick, and then we'll all head home together. And that's kind of how I talked myself out of it. And so as we're, like, getting set up for this photo shoot, I happened to be holding a Tim Hortons coffee. Or no, it was a Starbucks coffee, because that's all that was open. So I was holding a Starbucks coffee because, again, with us cosplaying the Netherlands and Canada, I made a joke. I was like, oh, it's too bad this isn't a Tim Hortons coffee. I could pretend to propose with it, and kind of went down on one knee offering the Starbucks cup. And Kara froze and, like, got this really panicked look on her face. And all of our friends just started laughing really, really nervously. And really, really hard. Like, you know how when people are trying to force something to be funny? And I was just like, okay, guys, it wasn't that good of a joke. Okay, I get it. Yeah, no, this story is ridiculous, Kitsune. So, I set aside my Starbucks cup, and we start doing this quote-unquote formal photo shoot. And at one point, yeah, it was absolutely that good of a joke. At one point, we start dancing to what turns out to be Kiss Kiss Fall in Love from Ouran High School House Club. And so as we're dancing, Kara's like, hey, do you recognize what this song is? And I was trying to listen, but like her brother was playing it off his phone, and I'm like, no, I can't quite tell what it is. And she's like, oh, well, it's Kiss Kiss Fallen Gay, which is what we call that song. And then she was like, I thought maybe we could play it at our wedding. And at that point, she takes a step back from me, like, goes down smooth as butter onto one knee, and pulls a ring out of the pocket of her dress. Like, it was, I have pictures of it. It was because all of our friends were there, and all of them were snapping pictures because they all knew what was going to happen. I was completely in the dark. But so when she goes down on one knee and pulls out the ring, the first words out of my mouth were, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Because I had always imagined proposing to her in cosplay and never thought it was going to happen, and because I had just made the joke with the Starbucks cup, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And she just kind of stared at me, and then immediately I was like, yes, of course. Like, of course I'll marry you. But yeah, so that was our engagement. The other funny bit of that is that, so I had said that a bunch of our friends were there, and that her brother was there, which I found kind of weird. There was also like another lady that was just kind of hanging around, and I just kind of assumed she was a staff member because she, like, you know, keeping an eye on this big group and making sure we didn't wreck the courtyard or whatever. Because she was kind of hanging back from everybody else, and I just kind of glanced over her and assumed it was a staff member. So after Kara actually proposed and we were done like hugging and crying and stuff, she comes walking over, reaches up and pulls off the wig she was wearing and just goes, "Hello!" And it was Kara's best friend, besides me, but like it was her best friend, M, who has really, really distinct curly red hair and never goes to anime cons. So they knew that if I saw M there, I would immediately realize something was up. And so they actually thought, like, okay, well, we need to get a wig for M so that she can still be there for the proposal, but not tip off SJ that something's going on. Like, it was fantastic. There was apparently a Facebook group with like 15 people in it that Kara kept secret for over 6 months as she was like planning all this. To this day, I have no idea how she pulled it off. Yeah, so that's the story of our incredibly dorky relationship and the best proposal in the world. It was incredible. She will never ever be able to pull off something like that again. But yeah, it was completely perfect. We've had multiple people, like, we've told that story to people, and we've had multiple people tell us, like, you are the love story that I want to have. And I'm perfectly happy with that. Like, Kara's the love of my life, and I would not trade her for anything else. We've been best, like, it's at this point, so I will be 34 this year. I will be 34 in September. I met Kara and started talking to her when I was 16. I've known her over half my life, and I've known her longer than I haven't known her. And that's how I want it to be. Ooh, cookies for Carby. Excellent. But yeah, so that's the full story of, well, I mean, not the full story, but that's the highlights of me and Kara and our ridiculous romance. But yeah, get you a gremlin that you can cosplay with, and if that's your thing. Vroom vroom. Okay. Make sure this is... I'm gonna pay attention. I'm gonna make sure these are all rotated the right way. I'm gonna do it. Yes. Will this end match up better? Close enough. That'll do. Oh gosh, it's already 1:54. Time flies when I'm talking about my wife. So I will put this piece on and then we'll probably call it a day. But yeah, I'm quite pleased. My hands have held up no problem for 4 hours. So I will probably make my Sunday streams 4 hours going forward and start at 10. Gives me just more time to sew and tell ridiculous stories about my wife. It is. Yeah, this is a magnet. So the band is a hair tie. Once they stretch out like this, I hate using them in my hair, so this one I just repurposed because it's not actually broken, it's just the elastic is stretched. And then this is a magnet that I got. It's like a purse closure magnet, and then I just wrapped fabric around it. Yeah, so it's the easiest way to just kind of, it's the same idea as like a needle minder that you would put. Needle minders are pretty popular for cross stitch, that you'll put on like on your canvas, like off to the side wherever you're sewing, so that you can just put your needle on it. But obviously with patchwork, I don't have a convenient place to attach a magnet needle minder. So I was like, well, why don't I just put one on an elastic and wear it as like a bracelet or across the back of my hand? So I did, and it works very well. The other sort of hack that I use, you guys want to see my super high-tech pin cushion? This is my pin cushion. Because the wax will keep your needles and pins from getting too like sticky, and it also helps to sharpen them a little bit. And also it's super cheap. So yeah, it smells really nice. So I've just taken to keeping a tea-sized candle to stick my stuff in. And it works conveniently for travel too, because then I just put the lid back on it and I can toss it into my sewing bag or whatever. Which is originally why I started using it, is because I was traveling a bunch, and trying to travel with needles in a pin cushion is a pain in the butt. So I just started using a candle and put the lid on it, and it's good to go. Alright, last seam here. And then I will throw you guys Julie words. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me and listening to me ramble about my wife and other assorted things. Thank you for following. Thank you to my subscribers so much. I very, very much appreciate it. Thank you all. Yeah. So I will be back, like I was saying, Tuesday and Wednesday this week. I'm going to start at 5 instead of 6, since I'm not at work and don't have to try to rush home from work. Yeah. If you haven't already, go check out Chris's GoFundMe. They are working hard at the moment, like as we speak, literally, to get the zine set up. So that'll be open to applications hopefully in the next day or two. Yeah, thank you, Kifa. That's what I aim for. Chill stream is chill. And it keeps me on track and keeps me working and forces me to make progress on my blankets. Which is what the benefit is for me. Because it's, you know, that way I know that there's 3 or 4 hours every week that I'm definitely making progress. So yeah. Last stitch here. So yeah, everybody have a good afternoon, a good last little bit of your weekend. I will see you, well, I mean, I'll see you back here, hopefully on Tuesday. But I'm sure I'll see you all on Julie's channel in like T-minus 2 minutes. Just to finish off this knot here. Oh. It is indeed 2 o'clock. One last verb. Yeah, not bad. But alright, I will send you guys in Julie direction. Thank you so much for showing up, and everybody have a good day.